Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday, October 14th. We got ourselves a heck of a tropical update here for you guys as we are watching another system that potentially could be impacting the Caribbean islands as a potential hurricane. We have a lot of things that we do need to talk about. Now, guys, before we get on into it, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, share this to as many people as you can to help spread the word. It would be much appreciated. But all right, everybody, so we're going to take a current look at the satellite imagery currently going on with the storm here. We have ourselves a little bit of struggling going on with it as we are seeing a lot of dry air in place. We do have a little bit of convection on the northwestern side of the center. We are seeing a little bit of storm activity with it. Yesterday there was hardly any at all, but we're still very much limited on those thunderstorm activity in the storm. Now this is going to remain this way for at least the next 2 or so days as we remain in dry air, and right around the 17th or so we're going to start to roll our way into some more moisture, which will allow for the storm activity to increase and overall allow for the system here to pick up a little bit in strength. So you can actually see that counterclockwise circulation if you look beneath it, and that center is right around in here on that last frame there, and the convection is to the northwestern side. We also do have a little bit of thunderstorm activity off here to the east, but right now, like I mentioned, the atmosphere is fairly dry. So we're going to hop over here to the spaghetti models. We looked at those in the beginning here. So we are currently seeing this storm advancing its way here to the west, and it will continue to do so for the next several days. About 3 days from now here on Wednesday, I believe that will be the 17th, we will be just off of the Lesser Antilles here. This will be currently, still moving westward at this point. But here's the thing. The latest models and the latest spaghetti model runs you can see has this thing potentially curving a little bit more down to the south. Now, this could bring areas such as the southern Bahamas, eastern Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and portions of the Antilles could be at risk here for the system. So I do want you guys to be watching this system, and if you don't already have preparations in place just in case if this storm does turn for the worse, which, like I said, some of the models do suggest this thing potentially being a hurricane, and a couple even potentially a major hurricane as well. But yeah, that's the latest regarding the spaghetti outlooks and stuff like that. We're still several days away from the Caribbean islands for the most part, but it does seem like the models are starting to agree a little bit more on the potential for the storm to be impacting those islands here for the later portion of this week. So make sure you guys are ready for that. Now here is the intensity guidance with those spaghetti models here. As you can see, majority of the models definitely have this thing, going up into at least tropical storm force. Some of them even going into hurricane force. We do have the one model, HWRF here, which I believe is the HWRF. It's just plotted on here, actually showing this thing going up to Cat 4. This is kind of really the only model that's suggesting this right now. So take that with a grain of salt. The majority of the models has this thing getting into tropical, if not Category 1 status. So we're just going to kind of ride on that for now. We'll keep an eye on it and see how it interacts once it rolls its way into that moisture here right around the 17th or so. You can kind of see once it does so, as the models are relatively flat, for the next couple of days as it just continues in that dry air. And then once we start to pick up into that moisture throughout the next 2+ days or so, you can actually see how the intensity starts to increase due to the fact that we're going to have more convection, more thunderstorm activity in that storm, which will get the thing going and get it really rotating a lot more faster, which would obviously strengthen the storm. So that is regarding that. Now let's go ahead and take a look here at the models. We're going to go ahead and drop our way over here to the actual individual model runs. We're going to start off with the HWRF as we usually do. By the way, you guys, please do not take this model too seriously. This is just one model run, so take this with a grain of salt, as you should for every model. But we're just going to kind of get an idea. Now, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys all of that dry air we're dealing with. All of that brown and tan that you see there, that is representing dry air in the atmosphere, which is preventing that convection from really kicking off, which is pretty much preventing that storm from strengthening at all right now. So then we work our way down in time. The time's in the top right if you guys want to follow along. As you can see, right as we kind of work our way here into the 16th and the 17th, that's when we start to really kind of grasp more moisture indicated in this kind of bluish green. And as we approach our way here for the 17th going into the 18th, according to this model, that's when we really start to pick up some strength as we pass to the north of the Virgin Islands here and then pass to the north of Puerto Rico. This model in particular has this thing coming right up out there towards the Dominican Republic. Now, the infrared satellite view looks a little bit nasty, but I will tell you this, that this is like really the only model that shows it getting up to this intensity. So once again, take this very lightly, as it typically is the HWRF that does overdo things sometimes, but just still watch it, but don't take it, too seriously for what this what this model run is suggesting. There still is a lot of things that we do need to kind of iron out here, but HWRF does have this thing potentially turning into a major hurricane. So then we're going to work our way over here to the latest HMON. This is another model here. Now, once again, as we can look at it, there's a lot of dry air, a little bit of moisture starting to pop up over here. As we approach our way here into the 15th, which would be here for tomorrow. So a little bit more convection could be possible tomorrow. And of course, still kind of battling that dry air throughout the 16th and the 17th. And it's really, this model in particular really doesn't grasp the system too much, unlike the HWRF and other models like the GFS and such. This model doesn't really grasp it as well, as you can actually see some of that circulation's up there to the north. But yeah, this model here just doesn't really handle the system too well. Now, speaking of the GFS, let's actually take a look at the GFS here. According to the latest, this system does pick up into potential tropical storm status. Now, unfortunately, the newest run here, the 12 Zulu, has this thing literally just offshore of Puerto Rico and potentially going up out there towards like the Dominican Republic, possible direct landfall out there. The GFS has actually been talking about the Dominican Republic being a potential spot for landfall for the last 4 or so model runs. So we'll continue watching that to see if that ever verifies. But it does look like, as we were looking at the spaghetti models, that all of those model runs are kind of trending a little bit to the south. Now, for the people who's wondering if this is going to impact the states, I don't think so. As of right now, there's definitely no threat for the United States, so no need to panic. I know there's a lot of misinformation going around, people saying that there's another storm coming for Florida. That's not true. As of now, there's currently no threat for Florida or anywhere in the U.S. for tropical impacts. Okay, so remember that. That's what you've been hearing. If you've heard anything about that, that's all misinformation. Right now, there's currently no threat. However, I do want you guys in the Caribbean islands, once again, the southern Bahamas, out there towards Haiti, Dominican Republic, eastern Cuba even, the Virgin Islands, and the Lesser Antilles, to be watching this storm, as it definitely could be a potential impactful system. So that is what the GFS has to show us, and you can actually see here, right at the point where we're at now, there is a lot of that dry air we were talking about, and the GFS has started to pick up some moisture here right around the 17th, as you guys can see on the time in the top right up there. So right around the 17th and 18th, that's kind of when we expect the storm to start progressing overall. And then lastly, we take a look here at the Hurricane Center's outlook. There's actually another system over here. This one I don't think is going to do too much, but we'll keep an eye on it as well. Overall, 20% chance of development. We're going to leave that one out for now. It doesn't seem like it's going to be as much of a problem as this guy over here. And then, like I said, this is 94L. Now, as of the last update, the overall probability of development is at a 60% chance. So yesterday morning, the probability, I believe, was at a 30%. So we're obviously going up and trending here. We are currently at a medium overall chance of development. Once this thing hits 70, it'll be a high chance of development here. So we're getting close. Do not be surprised if by tonight or tomorrow morning, we will be in that high category. Now, over the next 2 days, we're not expecting development. Once again, due to that dry air, over the next 2 or so days, we're going to be continually being into that dry air, which will basically limit the amount of convection that can happen inside the storm and prevent it from really kicking off and really strengthening. But I believe that the storm is going to develop here probably sometime around the 17th and 18th. That's probably when the system's going to have its best chance of developing into a potential depression or maybe a tropical storm. We'll have to see how things go. Once again, there still is a lot of uncertainty with everything, but that's just currently what we know about it now. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Once again, leave a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, if you guys could share this to your friends, your family, just to help get that word out there, it would be greatly appreciated. And alrighty, everybody, well, you guys have a great day. We'll actually do another live stream here later today for updated models and stuff like that. So I hope to see you guys later tonight. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch you then.